Hello and welcome to the All Round Coaching Podcast, episode number 45. We've decided while we're just on the road on our way to a wedding, we would record a podcast to pass some time as well.
Yep, you are getting the third instalment of a car podcast. Probably more so because it's been a mental 2 weeks, more for us really, I think, than anything. And times just get away with you sometimes, don't they? Like, your consistency on these, like, for 45 episodes in, like, you've not missed one yet.
No.
But yeah, like, so this week's definitely got away with us.
I just think adulting's hard. Like, obviously I did live with my mum and I was still an adult, I'd cook my meals, etc. But the washing basket's never empty, and I don't know why I'm just so hyper-vigilant with that at the moment, but we'll do like a load of washing, our lights are dark, it's all done, it's empty, and then you look back the day after and it's full again, and I can't cope.
I'm probably criminal of that though, is that I'll wear one piece of clothing.
One piece of equipment.
One piece of clothing and then like put it in the wash. I just don't like that feeling of like minkiness.
And it's not to say that I don't change my clothes, I just don't have 3 outfit changes in a day.
Yeah, true. But no, we're on our way to a wedding in Nottinghamshire, at Robin Hood Country, so we have to pass the sign.
Yeah, I was going to say, she isn't good at geography, she's passed the sign.
I know that we're going to Sherwood Hideaway, which is very much near Sherwood Forest, so that's what I knew roughly where we were going to be. But yeah, we're at one of my pals' weddings today, so yeah, it feels like it's been a long time coming, this one.
I feel like if anyone's out there listening, getting dressed I find so impossible, and I know people will probably, in a flattering way, I'm not being big-headed, they'll look at me and think I won't have any issues finding clothes or getting dressed, but it's one of the most stressful and hardest things. Like, throw a pair of heels and a dress my way and it's just not my comfort zone. I think I've got that used to wearing gym leggings and actually being comfortable, that it's just alien. Honestly, it stresses me out no end. So if anyone's out there that struggles with outfits and things fitting them and looking nice, you're not alone. I'm here with you.
Yeah, it's suddenly now become my pain stick as well. We've actually officially ordered Claire some wardrobes as well. She's lived with me now for 8 months.
Yeah.
And that we think it's about high time that you get a pair of wardrobes to put your clothes in.
I know, I can't wait for things to just be in like little sections. Everything's on a clothes rail, so at the minute I am like a little cartoon where I'll wear the same things, everything's black, because I can't be bothered going through my little scubbies where I've rolled everything up and packed it ever so tightly and neatly away.
Yeah, you've done well. I think I would have ripped my hair out by now. But yeah, we've finally made the commitment. We sacrificed the holiday for a set of wardrobes.
Yeah, and I mean, for us, it was not just rushing away, because obviously for me, it was sitting around for 2 days, because I don't do Friday, Saturday, Sunday work, and obviously we're coming away on the Sunday, so I didn't want to rush around for a holiday and then get back and then fly myself straight back to work, because it has been mentally exhausting for the past couple of weeks, so I think for me, just knowing when to pause a little bit.
Yeah, we've had car issue after car issue more so than anything, haven't we?
Well, yeah, yours got reversed into and mine just died twice, which is always at the most inconvenient times as well.
Yeah, as you're on the way out to work, mostly.
But no, I'm looking forward to the wedding, obviously being with you and having a little bit of downtime, but I think for me, obviously over the past, I'd say 2 or 3 weeks, I've probably reined it in and focused a little bit more on my nutrition and tidying things up, because I do feel uncomfortable when I do have a little bit more body fat, because I'm only little, I don't get away with it. So I know there's the people out there that said, oh, it doesn't matter what you look like, blah, 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 but it's how you feel in yourself, and I want to feel comfortable. Like, I am a little bit uncomfortable at the minute.
Yeah, I mean, I think you know naturally when you are, but I'm not saying you in particular, but I know I feel a little bit wobbly at the moment. Probably taking my foot off the gas personally. Less focused on nutrition, more focused on life, and for me anyway, because I've started like working for myself, that is my main focus point, where I'm trying to balance going to the gym, eating right, like moving, as well as like trying to make sure that there's food on the table and we don't lose our house. Equally has its stresses, so yeah, I mean, I feel like we've both gotten back into a swing of it, and to be fair, like, what I've noticed is that there's never an end point with stuff like that. Like, you get to a point where you feel and look good, but then what? Like, the journey's continuous, isn't it? So
yeah, I always say, like, to get you to that, when people think it's the end point, to get you there, you need to sustain and carry on the habits that actually got you there, because you don't just keep what you've built. To say you've dieted or got leaner in 12 weeks, you don't just keep it unless you sustain the habits. And it's not to say you can't go to like maintenance and relax a little bit, but it isn't a stop-start process, it is a continuation, and I think that's where people fall short.
I think the maintenance is probably the hardest thing.
Yeah, because you're keeping the habits in that you've built, and obviously once you start to fall out of habits, it is harder to rebuild it and get going again with them. Not impossible, but I think some people just need to wake up and realise that your health is for life, and you've got to continue it to, one, feel good, not just obviously the aesthetic point of view, but two, to actually sustain what you've built. Otherwise you will forever be that yo-yo up and down.
Yeah. Sorry,
so
a little bit.
Yeah, Mel's drifted off her top order now.
No, you're not. I was trying to concentrate on driving. Yeah, I mean, it kind of comes back to today, really. Like, for example, with the wedding. I mean, we've both been up early, trying to get a decent enough breakfast in. Like, although it's not unhealthy, but like a breakfast wrap is probably a little bit more calorific in comparison to what we're used to for a breakfast. Like,
there isn't healthy and unhealthy. You've got nutritionally dense and then obviously calorie dense. Like, a wrap's fine. If you're going to feel more satisfied and satiated, it's better to have that than have something piddly. I know a lot of people associate muesli as health and the go-to for the healthy breakfast when they're dieting, but it's more calorific than what we've had, and we've had obviously a good amount of protein with that. So probably not labelling foods, and people just like logging calories is a good way of actually seeing what you're eating and how much you're eating, not just the number but the quality of the food and your consumption of it. So I think people are always baffled, like, oh, I don't eat a lot but I'm gaining weight, but it's because they're eating calorie-dense foods. Like, I wouldn't say that a wrap's calorie-dense.
Well, tell people what we normally have on a wrap for.
Well, today we had a little bit more because we knew, one, we were in the car for a bit and I'd get hungry. So we had the wrap, 2 bacon medallions, 1 egg, a little bit of mozzarella and a hash brown.
Yeah.
And it was a decent amount. I think you're looking, was it 450, 500 calories, which for me isn't a lot. It's just that we live in that diet culture where everybody associates low calorie with health. And like, you can go up and down, like higher calorie things that are quote unquote healthy, where you get more nutritionally dense value, then sometimes the calories are more. It's not to say it's unhealthy, it's just that you're getting like maybe more fats in there.
But yeah, like the hash brown, for example, like, it was probably perceived as a bit of a bad guy on that wrap, isn't it? But
yeah, people say, oh, it's bad for you, that. Like, it tasted nice and I'm happy having it. Would I have one every single day? No.
No, and it is a treat in some senses, isn't it? But that potato keeps us fueled for, well, we'll be going into the ceremony at 1 o'clock, and then I think this canapé at like 2, 1:30, 2 o'clock, so open that window up, what, like 3 hours?
I'll be starving by then. My personality will be disappearing.
The canapes obviously isn't a lot, so that's why we've decided, like, right, okay, we'll have a filling breakfast to make sure that we actually are eating something that we can control, because naturally I don't know what the hell we're going to be eating today. Like, I don't know what's on the menu, I don't know how it's cooked. Like, couple that with obviously fizz on arrival and no doubt wine on the table, like, which I'm sure you won't drink.
No, I'm not a wine drinker.
You know, it's trying to make sure, like last night we looked like a pair of like lunatics, like carrying like a little cool bag from across from Tesco, like with like a little loaf of bread, like some meat, just to make sure that we weren't ordering a greasy takeaway or a kebab on the way home. Like,
I think it's just planning ahead, and that's what a lot of people don't do. They're like, oh, I'm going out and I'll try and be good. It's just not going full dickhead mode, and one, either overeating for the sake of it and feel like, I don't like associating people being on or off a diet. You either eat a little bit more or you eat a little bit less, and then it disassociates that feeling like you're under restriction or things have to be a certain food and fucking chicken and lettuce all day. So it's not, if you go over your calories, say if you are logging one day, it's not to say you fucked it, because it's your overall week that keeps you in a deficit, so it's pulling it back one day, maybe a little bit higher on the other, and it's just being sensible with it.
Just being more mindful as well, like, just not going full dickhead, like, don't fucking cane, like, 3 bottles of Prosecco, don't shovel your face with, like, shitloads of pizza, like, just because it's there doesn't mean you have to have it.
Yeah, and it's a good point to make that. I think people do just eat for the sake of it and mindless, and then I do think that's sometimes why logging your food is good, because you're more aware of what you're eating and the quantity, and you think, Like, if you saw 2,500 calories that you'd already logged on MyFitnessPal and you were going back for more food, you'd probably rein yourself in because you're being a little bit more mindful in that sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I think sometimes people they don't listen to the hunger cues, or some people just aren't really aware of that. So logging can help you in that way, gaining a little bit more control.
And you might find that some of the reasons why you're hungry is probably because you might not be eating as many calories as what your body needs as well. Like, I found that, like, we had a big walk last Sunday, didn't we?
Yeah.
So the expenditure after training that day as well was quite high, wasn't it? So no wonder we were hungry, and I don't think we'd eaten a lot that day.
Yeah, so if you are, this is why when I say to people, like, don't smash yourself into the ground with exercise, cardio, because you're just going to bring your appetite up anyway, and obviously if you're bringing your appetite up, you're probably going to match that and start eating more, so it's just balancing out a little bit. But I think people sometimes, the more I do, the quicker I get there, and then they end up just eating more in the long run.
You know what's been really nice though recently, actually, the fact that the weather's started to, like, dry off a little bit. It started to get nice. Like, we went for a walk around Hay Hall the other week, like last weekend, and it was really nice to, like, actually, I wouldn't say get the steps in, but to actually move and get around, because obviously we both work from home. Obviously you're in the gym as well, but, like, to actually leave the house and go and get some fresh air, like, I'm feeling grateful that it's more spring now than winter. It makes a massive difference.
Yeah, and I think you pointed out something, like, we do actually make the effort to get up and go for a walk. So when people say, I've got an office job or I work from home, like, there is absolutely no excuse not to get up and get out and move and exercise. I just think we live in such a lazy society now. And when I see people just moving like 1,000 steps a day, like, it blows my mind. But this time that they say they have it to sit and watch 4 or 5 hours of Netflix. Like, I think it is people's priorities and lack of consistency over the long run, but again, it's like anything, it's built with time and habits, and obviously not to get it perfect, but consistency is just obviously repetition over time, and that's when obviously it does start to stick.
You had something this week though, didn't you, about, I think it was supposed to be, was it Joanna or someone like that, where they'd spoken about, like, feeling good rather than chasing, like, numbers. It's about how I feel this week.
No, that was Tara, that. So it was a point that I'd made, like, one, you're moving because you actually can and you feel good from it. You're not just moving from a fat loss perspective, because A, not everybody's in a fat loss phase, but B, like, exercise and your nutrition goes beyond fat loss. It is for your health. So I made that point, and obviously it stuck with her, and she's actually enjoying the gym because it doesn't feel like something she has to do, but something obviously she can do.
Yeah, it's a good change in mindset, that.
Yeah, I do think a lot of people need to reframe things. And I know it is because of diet cultures, every single thing that's marketed and promoted is for fat loss, and it's the same with protein. Like, everything's marketing, like, it's either fat loss or protein.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's the thing that sells at the moment, though, isn't it? To be fair, it does help, like, especially when you are.
it is
a low-cal, high-protein meal.
But again, like, you can just have the real thing, and sometimes the low-cal, you're sacrificing, like, the actual taste for it, so you'll probably end up eating the real thing anyway, or not being fully satisfied. So eat what you enjoy and just look a little bit more at your nutrients and making sure you're getting them in, like your fruits and your veggies. People often neglect that and wonder why their energy levels are low, or they start to feel a little bit shit. It's because the diet isn't, like, varied or balanced in ways. So yeah, I mean, we will leave it there because obviously we can drone on about nutrition for quite a while, but we just wanted to do a little update, and I know that it does resonate with people, like, obviously the diet side, especially when they go to weddings, on holiday and occasions. Like, you can still have that control, you can still live life, and you can still actually get somewhere, whether it's fat loss, muscle gain, maintenance, whichever. Like, life doesn't stop just because you're trying to lose a little bit of body fat or gain a little bit of muscle.
Yep, you don't have to be a complete, like, I suppose, like, diet prison, do you, really?
No, just exercise for your health, make yourself feel better, and you'll live, like, it is easier to live a happier, longer life if you are healthier.
Yeah, and you're happier with it.
Yeah. So we will leave it there. We will be back next week, and it is likely that I will have a little bit of a break from podcasts for maybe a month. So we'll get to episode 50 and I'll have a little bit of break, but we will be back with this, and it's just for my little brain to reset a little bit. So thank you for listening. Obviously, if you do find these helpful, or you want to share it with someone that might gain something from it, obviously drop a like and share it with your pals.
See you later.
Bye.